have another very special guest, Anya Foli. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Tanvir. Really happy to be here and spend some time with you today.
Anya, you are a senior director at FTI Consulting. You have over 10 years of business transformation, process improvement, PM, merger and acquisition, all the great business experience. Now, here is the most interesting part. You are also the captain of the Ohio State NCAA volleyball team and the French national volleyball team. That is the epitome of success in sports and in business. This is exactly what this podcast is about. So welcome again to the show. How did it all start? So walk me through your journey growing up and playing sports.
So I was born in Poland, in Krakow. My dad was a professional volleyball player in Poland. He moved us to France through a volleyball opportunity. And so I grew up near Paris, started playing volleyball at about 11. Really didn't, when you're a kid, you really don't want to do what your parents tell you. So I started with gymnastics, and when I could hang out of the uneven bar, sort of the tallest bar, and my feet were on the ground. I'm 6'2" now. So, they said, my parents are also very tall. They said, this is not a sport for you. So anyways, I tried, 10 other sports before my parents were finally like, no, you belong on the volleyball court. And they, put me in one day, and then the rest is history.
How can, other people that are maybe not feeling motivated today, how can they channel something of that sort to help them get through the hard moments?
Yeah, someone once told me that when you're in a tough moment yourself, or you're going through something rough, focus on others and on giving back and helping someone else. And it's proved very true for me. And it's not like I did this, for my parents, but part of me was thinking, there's so many times where I wanted to quit. I mean, I came to the US, I said, I'm going to try this for 1 year. And then if it doesn't work out, I'm just going to come back, and it's no big deal, right? Low risk. I'll have so many more experiences. I'm not a quitter. So I was like, I can't quit. I need to go through this to the end. But there were so many nights where I just wanted to throw the towel. It was really hard. It was so much change. And and I think, I focused on, why am I here? And if I do this, I can show others that it can be done. And really, focusing on doing this for someone else, maybe it can help for a greater cause almost, right?
Yeah. What can businesses start doing today, and maybe some of the stuff that you've done with your team, to actually make it more objective than subjective? So a lot of people get caught up in the office politics. My boss isn't really giving me feedback, but she said something today that's a little different than what she said yesterday. I don't know how to take that. What can leaders, what can teams be doing to make it a bit more objective and more regimented that we've seen in the sports world?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's something that, for me, it starts with really defining what are the objectives of the business, right? What are we trying to do as a team, right? What championship are we trying to do? One of the things that was hard for me transitioning from sports to business and life was, in sports, there's the European Championships, the World Championships, the Olympics. And in life, there's no Olympics. And so each business, has to have clear, achievable goals, define their own Olympics in business terms, right? And then just like in sport, where you have, every player has their spot on the court, and every player has few key plays to run for the team to be successful, is to really make sure that everybody in the organization, no matter how small or how big their title is, right? To me, titles don't matter, but what is your role within this business? And make sure that everybody is clear on, how their role will contribute to that greater picture, and what are the key things that they need to achieve, both tangible and intangible, in order to succeed. And I think, I'm a firm believer in feedback, like you mentioned, right? And I think that having feedback, companies have this, mid-year feedback, end year. I'm really a believer of instantaneous, similar to like you have in sports,
Absolutely.
and building those relationships with people and establishing a forum where you can provide that candid feedback instantaneously is really important.
So what can businesses today do, Anya, maybe that you've done and you've learned from volleyball, where it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to say, hey, it was my fault, but I believe that we can get better as a team, and there's not going to be negative consequences as a result?
I'll give you an example. I lead a lot of large projects, right?
Yeah.
And in projects, you have the status, you have, red, yellow, green. And one of the executive leaders who's been a huge, role model for me throughout my career taught me early on that it is actually good to show that, things are red and yellow for two reasons. One is it draws attention and visibility, and you provide an objective, view of that not everything is going well, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is, he told me, he said, you also are really saying why they need you, because you need to address it, right? So if something's not going well, it's not about how the fact that it's not going well. How are we handling it? How are we responding? And what actions are we taking to make it better, right? And Ohio State, we had this saying, it's GBED, right? Get better every day. It's not where you are. It's keep improving, and it's how do you focus on the improvements that people are making versus their where they are today.
I know you also are part of the International Women's Forum. So walk maybe through what you're doing there and the impact that's had on some of the members there.
So the International Women's Forum is a global network of about 7,000 accomplished women from something like 33 countries that are forming a community of diverse thinkers, and their mission is to shape a future where leadership has no gender, and the next generation is both inspired and equipped to transform the world, which is sort of a fancy way to say, we are going to support each other as women and inspire, future generations, and really advocate for women to grow in leaderships in whatever way they want to grow. I joined the IWF in 2019 through the Elite Athlete Program. So that program is a program where they recruit sort of 25 former elite athletes from all over the world, and we went through a sort of an initial year-long program with mentorship. So I had an amazing mentor who helped me get through tough times and just acted as a coach and a mirror in a time of transition for me. I met a ton of amazing women in my cohort. So I felt, a sense of belonging. I felt like I was with family, with women who, just like me, had transitioned out of sports and, were really successful in sports and are really successful in whatever they're doing, but maybe they're not sure about, is this the right thing? Am I on the right path? And what is my Olympics? We talked a lot about that, is what am I, what is my purpose now that I'm done playing sports? And then the rest of the IWF women, I'm still meeting amazing women today that, I'm really impressed by the achievements. I mean, they're chiefs of police, Nobel Prize winners, CEOs. And when I went to one of their conferences in Toronto, I shared my story, and they thought my story was really cool. And I was just, really impressed, because here I am in this group of, Nobel Prize winners, and I'm like, hey, I played volleyball, and you're like, oh my God, it's just so cool. And really that was great for me because the takeaway is that everyone's story is unique, and it's how you position yourself and who you surround yourself that's the most important.
Would you have any last parting advice for athletes, whether professional, Anya, or student athletes or Olympic athletes who are transitioning after their sports careers over now into the world of business?
Well, the first is if you're still in, a student athlete, enjoy it, live it like it's your last experience that you'll ever have. Because not that I didn't, but my coach used to say, you'll never have 4,000 fans, come and cheer for you again. And my goal was always to keep playing and, go on to have a full professional career. And for me, I was like, well, this is just, this is a step towards something greater. And I ended up making the tough decision to stop my competitive athletic career. And, for me, the lesson is you never know what life has in store for you. So enjoy every moment. The second piece I would say is build and cherish your relationships. The relationships that I've built with my teammates, some of them were in my wedding, with my classmates from the MBA, I cherish those forever. And there is, I have a friend today who, we did the MBA together and then haven't talked for 10 years. And now we're hanging out a lot because we're both in Denver, so you never know where life will bring you. So cherish those relationships. The third, I would say, is keep taking care of yourself, just like you have been when you're out,
Yes.
Keep fit, eat well, take care of your mind and body, because your body is your sanctuary. And it's not because, you stop playing that you don't keep taking care of it, and find groups to still have fun, pursue your passion, try to find something different. Maybe I'm still looking for another hobby, and, try skiing and hiking and such, but it's good to sort of diversify. Give back, do some coaching, give back to the future generations to make an impact and share your experiences. And the last thing I would say is leverage the crap out of your sports experience. I mean, no matter your level or achievement, it takes a lot to be an athlete, and we've built a skill set and a mindset that is invaluable in real life and in business. And tell your story. People love hearing stories about the way we've handled challenges and opportunities on the court. I remember thinking about, or even talking to some recent graduates, and they're like, well, I don't have a lot of work experience. Well, you have a ton of athletic experience. Leverage it. Maybe I'll leave you with the advice from my mom, who doesn't love some good mom advice, but she used to say, like, I would go in an interview and she would tell me, when in doubt, just talk about volleyball. And I did. And it's like the spark, would shine in me, and I would, be in my element, and it's worked, and I still use it today. So, cherish that experience, and tell your story.